Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week. Don't gotta wait long for the next one to release. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat, enjoy Midweek Motivation with John and Carly. Hey.
Midweek Motivation.
Let's go!
Next program.
I was trying to figure that out. Oh, well, hey, welcome to Midweek Motivation. I didn't tell Megan in real life. I was just going to see if she would notice. I kept doing that to Trevor the past couple weeks. And actually, I was really hoping I'd catch Cody off guard last week. Just like, we were talking, you know, and one of these days, it's only happened once, but one of these days it's going to happen and we're going to say something that, you know, wasn't meant to go out live. Nothing inappropriate, right? Just not things that you want to broadcast and have left on the internet forever. You know, all those things.
Depends on who you want to catch.
Right. I want to do it to Carly one day. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be real fun to catch him. But hey, welcome to Midweek Motivation, real conversations with real people about a very real God. It's another wonderful episode because Megan's back. It's been a minute. Probably hasn't been. You haven't probably been on since Gather, so we probably got to talk Gather just a little bit.
Yes.
We'll touch Gather a little bit, which will kind of tie into what we talk about today. But if you're not already a part of our group, you can text the word motivate to 540-54. I haven't messed that up in like months, legit months. I've gotten that perfect. 540-900-3838. That'll put you in our group. You can get notifications when the show's going live. We'd love for you to share it with somebody. Show's available on Apple and Spotify podcasts, as well as Facebook, YouTube, our website, the app, it's all sorts of places, right? It's even on Twitch. Nobody watches except for Levi on Twitch, but because I don't know how to advertise on Twitch. And
I don't even know what that is. So
yeah, well, hey, every teenager does. Twitch is for streamers. Twitch is like designed mainly for video games and streaming.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, so I figured, why not? Let's just jump on there. Nobody ever watches other than Levi. So that's all right. And Levi, I feel like Levi juices our stats a little bit because he'll jump on like on YouTube and he jumps on.
He counts as like 7 people.
He kind of does, right? So it's all right. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Levi.
Yeah, I'm sure he's there somewhere. But welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. We'd love for you to share with somebody. Just hit the share button on whatever platform you're watching on. Let us know in the chat that you're here. There's chats on like all the platforms, even on Twitch, if you can figure out how to log into Twitch and all that good stuff. But another episode of we're jumping in with our follow series. This will be our third week or fourth week. I think it's our fourth week. It's been a long time. We don't usually stick with one thing for too terribly long, but it's our fourth week talking about Luke 9:23. So if you've got a Bible, wherever you're at, you can jump in there, your iPad or your phone or whatever you've got, whatever you read the scriptures on. You know, does anybody use? Let us know in the chat. How do you read the Bible? Do you read it on your phone? Do you read it on your tablet, on your computer, or do you use like good old fashioned paper? I like the paper.
Me too.
I'm a big fan. There's something about holding like the actual Bible and
Love
like
it.
this one I've had for a long, long time. So you can see the pages are all like worn. There's some good coffee stains, right? Can't get coffee stains on your phone.
True. Yeah, there's a lot of memories tucked in Bibles.
Right?
For
You can
sure.
you can write in things like
Yeah, there's a part of my Bible that I used when I was living in Africa, and Owen was my 10-year-old was really little, and there's a section of it that has red marker, like all halfway down the page, and I just like that. Like I was not happy with it at first, because
Right.
I was like, you just wrote in my Bible, but now it's
Right.
like a good reminder, you know. It brings back memories for me. So I prefer the picking up the Bible. But, I mean, the phone comes in handy.
it's
especially
so
during service.
convenient.
Yeah. But then you can get distracted really easily, too. Like, oh, there's a text, and then you forgot you're reading your Bible. And so.
Yeah, guilty. I'm 100% that way. Yeah, that's all the time. So I like it just because it's super easy. It's super simple. I can put it, you know, I can put the widget on my phone or like right on the front, and it always jumps to it. It can be the first thing I have in the morning, but then it's an easy thing to get distracted to. But I like the paper more because then you can if you highlight in it or anything like that, it, like you said, it brings back those memories. Like, oh, I remember when I underlined that. And it's cool because then you've got almost, if it's years, like you have a different understanding of what that passage meant to you at that time versus, you know, what it means now. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. That was just a, you know, part of half the fun of the show. But thanks so much for joining us. Let us know that you're watching. Say hello, and we'll jump in. There's a couple things we probably needed to cover. Want to let you know about. Number one, Easter's coming up. It is on April the 20th. So put it on your calendars. Easter's like super late this year.
Yeah, I feel like this time last year we were like preparing for like Easter was happening soon, and now it's a whole month away. So
yeah, so
more than a month.
let us know if you're going to be here for Easter. And I'll just tell you, you should be here for Easter. It's going to be a good time. There's going to be, we've got our Easter egg hunt will be happening. So if you're interested in donating candy and being a part of that, you can bring candy. I think you can probably bring it this week. I don't know where we're going to put it, but bring some candy. We'll find a place to put it.
I know where it's going.
That's great.
Okay, well, at least
I'm glad you know.
I know where the totes and the eggs are.
Okay, perfect.
Because some groups want to do the packing.
Yes.
And so I had to investigate where they need to get the things from and take them back to. So at least I know that much. But the candy drop-offs, I feel like they should be probably showing up in the lobby.
Yeah,
They're
last year we had those big...
the baby pool.
Oh, it was the baby pools, wasn't it? That's right. I was thinking it was the candy corns, but that was for...
For Halloween.
Yeah, there's always opportunities to donate candy. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. We were thinking about the giant trash cans of the candy corns.
Yes.
But that was Halloween.
Yeah.
That was Candyland.
And you can do chocolate that time of the year, but not this time
Please
of the
no
year.
chocolate.
I was reminded no chocolate. So.
No chocolate. It will be a gooey mess by the time the kids actually get to it, especially because apparently winter is gone and it's just going to be 70 degrees from here on out.
Happy about that.
That's fantastic. And not ridiculously windy anymore, which is wonderful. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Molly. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Cody, I'm so glad that you're letting me know in the chat that you're here. That was legit his comment. He's letting me know in the chat that he's here because this is what that's what our thing says all the time. You can always count on Cody.
Even when he's not here.
Yeah. I love that I explained your joke, Cody, because, you know, that makes it all better. Every joke is better when you have to explain it. Hey, Courtney. Oh, look at my wife watching from all the way downstairs.
Aw, hi, Courtney.
Well, she's supposed to be working, but how many of you are working right now and watching this? Don't tell your boss, but tell us. But Easter is coming up. That's April the 20th. It's going to be a packed day. We've been trying to figure out the logistics of where we're going to put all of the people, all the human beings that are going to be here on that day. So there's the good news is there are 4 services. So we have a Maundy, Thursday service, not Monday, Thursday. I have no idea what Maundy means. I haven't.
Dustin told me this morning they're going to give it a name. So the service.
Oh, okay. So kind of like give thanks.
You'll have to explain what it means.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'll let Dustin explain it. I'll let him figure that out. But so we have a Thursday night service, and then we're going to take Friday off, and then we're going to take Saturday off, and then we'll have 3 services on Sunday morning. So we'll have our sunrise service. Which we will have heaters, which means it'll be plenty warm. I guarantee you, because I didn't even take the heaters off the truck last year because it was like 50, 60 degrees at 6 a.m. It was wonderful. So we will have heaters if it is cold, but we'll have the heaters, which means it won't be cold, which is perfectly fine with me. And then we'll have our 9 and 10:30 services as well. We'll definitely have an overflow room set up. John and I were looking at chairs the other day, trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to fit 1,000 chairs in here without people sitting on top of each other? Because it can be done. We fit 1,018 chairs in there last year. It can be done. It's just not super comfortable, but it can be done, and we're going to make it comfortable. And you know what? It's Easter. You want to be in the room with a ton of people singing and worshiping.
Energy,
it's
celebration.
Right. If there was a Christian Super Bowl, like this is it. Like this is Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. and I'm a little partial. I think every Sunday is kind of like that at Parkway, but Easter is like another level.
It's really special.
It's fantastic. So we'll have an overflow room set up. You can watch in the cafe. It can be there'll be plenty of room to be a part of the service, and of course we'll be online as well. So if you have people that maybe you want to invite to church, especially on Easter, number one, great time to invite people.
Yeah.
Right? People.
It's not weird to invite people to church on Easter.
100%. It's not weird, especially if they have kids.
Yeah.
The egg hunt is a great excuse, right? I'll let you in on a secret. The reason we do the egg hunt is to get people to come to church, right? There's nothing spiritual about the egg hunt. It's legit just a ploy to get people to come to church so we can bring people to Jesus, right? If you didn't already know that, if you couldn't see through that, right? It's 100% just a ploy. Like, it's fun, but there's nothing spiritual about an egg hunt, right? No. We just want to bring more people to Jesus, and we will use anything to do.
Doing things for our community, and just to be an open space to love on our community is also important. Even if they skip service, which a lot of people do, and just come to the Easter egg hunt. It's really like Easter egg hunt around the world. When like you go out there, you see people from all kinds of places. It's really neat.
So make sure you're here for Easter, online, in person, whatever of those services you can make it to. You can come to more than one. I will tell you, if you want to come to like the 9 o'clock service, and you normally come to the 10:30, and you're thinking, I don't want to be in. I want to make sure that. Let me say it this way: if you want to make sure there's room for people, right, that don't normally come to the 9 o'clock service. Right, create a little bit of space. We want to fill up both those services as well, because we know 10:30 is going to be huge.
Right, especially for people with kids, because then they'll want to go outside and do the egg hunt. But like, you can still come with your kids early and then hang out in the cafe, or there's still things that you can do to occupy your time to come to the 9 o'clock.
But yeah, we'd love to have you for Easter. We'll be here, and hopefully you will be too. But that's April the 20th. Donate some candy. Bring it. There'll be some collection points in the lobby. If you bring a bunch of candy and you can't figure out where it needs to go, just ask somebody. We'll figure out where to put it. We'll just pile it up on Andy's desk and see how. I walked by Andy's office yesterday.
The chickens?
The chickens. Like all the rubber chickens.
Yeah.
Like, could you prove any more that you're a kids pastor than with just this stack of rubber chickens?
Yeah, I think I walked by when he was like unloading them from wherever he got them from.
Yeah, there's something special about kids pastors and youth pastors. Thank God for Amazon, because now you don't have to have the weird looks from people about like the weird things. Like, I used to go into the dollar store and buy like weird combinations of things as a youth pastor, and you can feel people looking at you like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah, I get those looks when I buy 100 Vienna sausages for the Preston Park snack packs. People are like,
what'd she feed her kids?
Yeah, that's that. I've seen the stares on that one.
Right.
For sure.
Are we still supporting Preston Park, or are we where are we at with that?
Yeah, so this year we decided we would do half of the year. So we did from August up to December, and then Emmanuel Wesleyan is doing December through end of year, which is May, and then we'll pick back up again. We just agreed we would do that again next year, so we'll pick back up again in August.
That's right.
Yeah, so keep bringing your stuff. I mean, you can bring stuff all throughout the summer, even just as long as it doesn't expire. And
do Vienna sausages expire?
I'm scared.
I mean, they may have an expiration date, all right? Kind of like Spam. They might expire, but it might be like, kind of like Twinkies, right? When the nuclear apocalypse happens or the zombie apocalypse happens, you'll have Twinkies and Spam.
So eat them.
Yeah, I could survive on that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But that's coming up. So make sure you don't miss Easter. Coming up in 2 weeks, on the 23rd, we have baptism. Baptism's always a great time. So if you're interested in getting baptized, if you have never been baptized, or maybe you feel like your next step is baptism, we'd love to talk to you more about that. You can go to parkerroanoke.com/baptism. That'll hook you up with Cassidy. and she will be more than happy to talk to you about that next step. You're going to hear us talk about next steps a lot if you're around Parkway or anything that we do, because it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you are a member or if you've been in church forever or if you're brand new. Everybody has a next step.
That's right.
Doesn't matter how long you've been around. Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has a next step. And we're here to help you take that. If you're not sure what your next step might be and you want to see some of those classic next steps that we have, if you go to parkwayroanoke.com, there's a next steps page, or if you pull it up on your Parkway app, there's just a button that says next steps, and it'll give you all the information on all those next steps that we have available for you. So make sure you sign up for baptism, or if you know somebody that, you feel like needs to get baptized, or, they've kind of been on the fence about baptism, send it to somebody, right? And then make sure you're here to support them and celebrate, because we'll definitely be celebrating loudly. And I was going to say viciously, but viciously is not the right word. Fervently? Fervently is a word.
Voraciously?
Voraciously. Ooh, that's a
Is
good
that a
word.
word?
It's probably a word. I don't know how to spell it, but it's definitely a word. So that's baptism coming up on the 23rd at 9 and 10:30. So make sure you're joining us for that to celebrate. Or if you're interested in getting signed up to get baptized, you can go to parkwayroanoke.com/baptism and get signed up. Also coming up the week after that, right at the end of the month, is New Friends Party. That's March the 30th. Were you right in how you were spelling it?
Yeah, I was. And at first it said devouring great quantities of food. And I was like, okay, that doesn't apply. But then the second one says having an eager approach to an activity. So
Yes, we eagerly baptize.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
right.
we voraciously baptize. If you want to get baptized voraciously, come and get signed up. Man, I'm so glad. I still don't know how to spell it. I have an idea, but I'm not going to try to spell it on the air.
Someone can.
That's going to
put
end
it in the
badly.
chat.
Yeah, somebody put in the chat, how do you spell voraciously, just for me? But New Friends Party is coming up on the 30th. It's right after church. So if you're new to Parkway, or if you feel new to Parkway, if you've not been to New Friends Party, you are invited. And I will tell you, Cassidy and Jeanette will hunt you down if they know about you. if Cassidy and Jeanette know that you have not been to a New Friends Party, just be ready, because you're probably going to get an invitation if you haven't already. Yeah. So always good food. I always love it. Look, I secretly love, I always love when we have food, right? The food's always good.
Yeah.
But I always secretly love when there's pizza too.
Yeah, and some people don't know about the pizza because it's like at the end, and then people are like, oh, there was pizza. So then, So I don't know if they moved that to the front for the kids or not.
I think they get the pizza for the kids and
Yeah,
always have
right.
something safe.
Exactly.
But I'm always like hoping for the pizza and hoping that there's some left by the time we, get all of our guests,
Usually
food and
there
everything.
is, yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys know this. Pizza is my love language, right? It's not
Okay.
one of the official love languages, okay?
Pizza.
But I have decided, and Courtney confirmed it, my love language is officially pizza. Right? Somebody brought me pizza one day. It was like half a box of pizza. And it was like, it was the most kind act of love that somebody could give me. It was fantastic, right?
Wow,
So
okay.
just put that out there. If anybody wants to
anyone
drop
wants to-
pizza by, it is an act of love and kindness. I love pepperoni. Just want to throw that out there. See, Carly does this thing all the time where he just throws stuff out there and people bring him stuff, like
yeah.
his
Dropping
Christmas
hints.
tree cakes
Yep.
and all those things. So I'm trying to take a page out of his book, right? He always gets free stuff, and people always, are blessing him with things. So I'm trying to, of course, now that I say that, now it sounds self-serving.
Well, Tanya always does the pastor appreciation pizza party.
Yes,
So
and it's delicious.
that's like your favorite day of the year.
Oh, it's
probably.
fantastic, and there's garlic knots on top of
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's true.
Right. And I like to do the thing where, you get down at the bottom on that paper and you soak up all the grease and the oil with it. It's delicious. It's great heartburn, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, not good for later, but
No. And eventually it'll probably be what kills me, but it's going to be fun while I'm here. So delicious. Anyways, pizza, New Friends Party, and better food than pizza, but I will be eating the pizza because it's a great time. It's a great time to meet the staff, get to meet a lot of our key volunteers, some really great people. So, and there's food, even an opportunity to tour the church if you haven't already. There's usually some kind of like delicious dessert, and I have no idea what's
Yes.
planned.
there is, and some giveaway things too that they do, like
Yep,
drawings
always
and
giveaways.
giveaways at the end, and So it's worth it for sure to come on out to the new friends party.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great time. And there's other things that we talked about right before we get started that I didn't write in my notes that I'm completely forgetting right now.
Well, we can switch from pizza to blood drive really fast.
That's a great connection.
Yeah, yeah. That connects somehow. Yeah, there's going to be a mobile blood drive today in the lower parking lots from 3 to 7. I should have sent you the link, but anyway,
I think I know
they
where
do
it is.
walk-in appointments as well. If you can come out and give blood, the goal is to have 18 blood donors today, and as of this morning, there was maybe like 5 people signed up.
So there's room.
But last time we exceeded the goal, and we got like 22. So if you're in a group, tell the people in your group. Yeah, but there is a link. We can pop it in the
Hold on,
chat.
I think I could put it in here. I think I found it. I'm glad you sent it out.
Yeah, it's on Facebook as
Oh,
well.
look at that. There it is. Ooh, gosh. What about breakfast pizza? Brunk, I do love breakfast pizza. So John brought us, our production team, breakfast pizza one Sunday morning.
Oh, he did?
And it was
Because he
fantastic.
brought it to the Christmas breakfast, too.
Ooh, he did. Yes, it's same pizza. It's delicious. It's
From the gas station.
Yes, and I know what you're thinking. Gas station pizza, but delicious. This is good gas station pizza. Not like that 7-Eleven pizza that is only good for like 3 minutes. And it's got to be like 3 minutes out of the oven. That's all you've got, right? After that, complete cardboard.
Yeah, not the one John brings, though.
Yes, the one John brings is fantastic. And I have no idea where that place is, but John, tell us in the chat where that place is so we can give them some free promotion. And maybe they want to sponsor us. How great would that be? Maybe then we can, build all this in. That's what we need. We need a sponsor.
Yeah,
I would
we-
put
that's
this.
everyday sponsor, right?
Yeah, I would sell the wall right here and sponsor, whatever XYZ gas station.
Somewhere in Blue Ridge, I think.
It is. It's like right down the road. Yes. Fantastic. We do need to be sponsored by a pizza place. Oh, that might be the dream
All
right
right,
there.
back on track, Darren.
What? I mean, hey,
I know what you're having for lunch today,
if only. I do need to find pizza somewhere.
Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney, if you want to bring me some pizza, that would be fantastic. But blood drive is today, so 3 to 7.
Yeah, 3 to 7.
Okay. And they can sign up at the link. I did put the link in the chat below, so make sure you sign up. I don't know anything about the Blood Connection.
Yeah, there's still the Red Cross, but there's also the Blood Connection, which is another community blood center. So, yeah, both great organizations that do blood drives, but we're doing our second one with them, and they give rewards, which is kind of cool. So if you donate blood, you get $30 in like e-rewards you can spend to shop online. And then we actually get, for every donor, Parkway Missions gets $10. So we made $200 last time for Parkway Missions, which is always a plus.
And all you got to do is give some blood that you're going to make more of anyways.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's supposed to be, I was told, I don't know how, I'm assuming this is true, it's supposed to be heart healthy for men to donate blood.
Oh, really?
That's what I've been told. So I think of it like changing the oil in your car, right? You got the same blood in you,
Yeah.
right? And it just kind of circulates and circulates. And it's apparently, I've been told it's a good thing to like let some of the blood out,
Yeah.
and then your body makes all
some
new
more.
blood. And at the
makes
end of
sense.
it, you get a cookie. Usually a cookie. Is there a cookie?
Your face looked like Christian. A cookie.
I mean, look, if I'm giving
exciting at the
blood,
end.
every time I've ever given blood, there's a cookie. It's usually get a little bit of orange juice so they make sure you don't pass out,
Yeah.
right? Which I think they secretly kind of hope people pass out, because I think they get some small amount of enjoyment watching people pass out that think they're not going to.
That almost happened to me once. I got the whole crackers and lay down treatment.
You go to stand up and they're like, no. They can see your all your skin just pure white.
Okay, don't say all that because people aren't going to want to give blood if you remind them that can happen.
That rarely happens to people, right? And we have professionals. They'll take good care of you. It's good for you.
Yeah, it'll be great. If you can donate, that would be.
If you can, that would be fantastic.
Save a
And
life.
if you can't, I'm sure the Red Cross takes donations. And if you want to just give directly to missions, we got ways to do that too. So you can support missions through the Blood Connection, giving blood today, or just share that link with somebody. Share it on your social, because you may not be able to or have time today. There's probably somebody in your world that can.
Right.
So
Just passing by on the way
send
home
them
from
on
work.
over. And hopefully there's cookies. If there's not cookies, I'll have a talk with the Blood Connection people and make sure the next time that there's cookies.
I'll have to text her and find out if they're bringing cookies.
John says Blue Ridge Minute Market. So
Okay.
Midweek Motivation brought to you by
Blue Ridge
Minute
Market.
Blue Ridge Minute Market. I was going to say Blue Ridge Women's Center. That's not it. That's something else.
Well, we have been on Midweek Motivation with them. a
That's
couple
true.
times.
And it's been a minute. We're going to have to touch base with them. I know they're
In their
working
new
on their
space.
center.
Yeah.
Are they up and running yet?
No, not
They're
yet.
still behind.
Yeah, but they're working on it.
Yeah, I think last time we were there, I think Lindsay or Ann said something about they were hoping to be like January or so, but I think that was optimistic. That was their hope.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever done a construction project, you know how materials take time to show up, and red tape and permits and all those things. So Blood Connection is today. There was something else that I'm forgetting.
The other one was kids camps, but
Yes.
so like kids camps, the registration is open. There's going to be a middle school camp this summer for those like of you that have kids that were in camp and now they're like in middle school and you're wondering what to do with them. Well, bring them back to Parkway because there's going to be a middle school camp, and then also NTS registration camp for the high schoolers is also and that's middle schoolers too.
Yep,
right?
middle and high school.
Yeah, and that's in July. So, yeah, lots of camp things happening. So that's like, as a parent, it doesn't always go on your mind in March of things happening this summer, but plan ahead because stuff's going to fill up. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So you can sign up at the website, parkroanoke.com. It's in there somewhere. You know how to find things on the
just
internet.
search for it.
Yeah. If not, you can just text us and we'll find you. We'll send you back the link directly. You can text the number on the screen, 540-900-3838. See, I messed it up, so I had to say it again to make sure I got it correct.
Got it.
But yes, John, food is always a good motivator for me. Or a good distraction. I don't know which it is, but it's probably a little bit of both.
Both, yeah.
But yeah, those are things. Make sure you're paying attention to those things so you don't miss out on all the good stuff. Now, Megan, it worked out perfect that you're on the show today. Because this was planned before I knew you were free to be on today. So we've been talking about Luke 9:23 and following Jesus, and we kind of been breaking down what it means to follow Jesus, right? So Jesus laid out a couple things of what it means to be a follower of Jesus. And he broke down a couple things. So whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me, right? So not just do these right things, not just act the right way, follow me, right? And last week we talked about, that worked out, it was on Ash Wednesday, we talked about denying yourself, right? We decided we were going to coin new, like I was going to say Gen Z words, but it's not Gen Z. Although I'm realizing that Cody and Trevor are like way younger than me, and it really broke my heart when I realized how much younger they are than me.
Yeah, that happens to me.
Because
a
it's
lot
not
these
much,
days. Yeah.
but it's enough. Like we wouldn't have been in high school at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So more
that's
than 4 years. Different.
right. And I'm realizing like that's a different time. Like if you would have been in middle school at the same time somebody else was in high school, like you were different people. Like you had a different experience of the world. And so I'm realizing I'm not as young as I am in my mind.
Well, you're getting to our age, and it's like when you were in high school, there's certain people you work with that weren't even born yet. That's what I'm realizing.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Graduated
true.
in 2002. So-and-so wasn't even born then. So that's a sad day when you realize that you're that old.
Yeah, it's a little sad. But, I'm still, my dad always told me, he said, you're only as old as you feel. And I feel 25.
Yeah, I would say.
And I don't always act like I'm 25. And I'm a whole lot smarter than I was at 25, right? So that's a good thing.
Maturity level is definitely different.
My back doesn't feel like I'm 25. But,
Yeah.
that is what it is. I just hang out with people older and smarter than me. So that's always a good thing. But we did decide that we were going to coin a new term, dust. Like that's dust.
Oh, I like it.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Like if something is dust, like, oh man, your phone is dust. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet.
Well, what does it mean? Like,
I don't know. We didn't decide.
Because since we're talking about old, like, we could call each other Dust.
I mean, maybe. It's like, man, you're dust. Oh my gosh, you look like dust today. Like, no, that sounds bad, but it could be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with Gen Z, you never know if something's bad or good, what they say.
Mostly, I just want to get rid of the word bussin', or Ohio and Riz. I just want to get rid of all those words.
Come up with some new ones.
Because I have to believe I said some stupid sounding things, right, when I was in high school and middle school, especially in middle school. But good heavens, it can't have sounded that dumb. Like, Riz is just the stupidest word I've ever heard, right? I'm so sorry if you love that word and you use it all the time, which I don't think any of our audience
does. At least
does.
it has like, you can trace it back to a real word. Like, some of these words have no, like,
Yeah.
root word at all. It's just a
I will
made-up thing.
I will say, my favorite one is Ohio.
Okay, I didn't even know about that one.
Right? So Ohio.
that mean?
Right? If something is Ohio, right, it's bad.
Okay.
And that is beautiful to me because Ohio is a terrible, terrible, horrible place.
Oh no, I hope we don't have listeners from
Right?
Ohio.
That's okay. My wife grew up there. And all of my family, or all of, her family, but that's okay. Anyways, we came up with a new word. I don't know. Let us know in the chat. Do you think dust is good? Dust is bad?
Like it.
What could it mean? Who knows? But you're going to hear it. I don't think it'll ever catch on, but maybe. If it gets rid of words like Riz and bussin', then, then it's a good thing. But we've been talking about...
We could start, Brenda and... who's that? Brad. Brenda and Brad. We could actually do a social media campaign and get them to use it.
We could. That video of so we did a video, if you didn't see it, we did a social media post about some of our older folks, our older generation using popular Gen Z slang. It's probably like our third most popular post now. The one of Dustin talking about Taco Tuesday is, I think, still the highest. It's either that one or his Space Jam dunk attempt. Those are like, last I looked, they were like 4,000 views and counting. It's fantastic. They're really, really fun. And shout out to Dustin. What a good sport. Because we don't tell him when we do things like that to him.
I'm wondering, does he even? I guess he knows by now.
Oh, he knows. We've teased him about it immensely. But I kept waiting for a text from him calling me a jerk about the taco one, because he calls me a jerk about stuff all the time. It usually on stage in the middle of a sermon. He's done that twice. Called me a jerk, and I kept waiting, and I never got it. So I thought, maybe he hasn't seen it.
He walked right into that one. He said that so many times, so he had to know.
And it was so easy, too. So we had planned to do that one for a while. And then that Sunday, his first 5 minutes was just fantastic. It was so easy to pull from.
Yeah, that was.
It was fantastic. Yes, John, I hate skibbity. Skibbity is terrible. Yes, Ohio brought me great joy because I did meet my wife. And she's technically from Kentucky. So, that counts. My in-laws, they were born and raised in Ohio, and, nothing against Ohio, but everything against Ohio. So sorry.
Yes, it's a bad word now.
Yes, it is a bad word, and for good reason. Anyways, sorry.
Talking about Jesus.
My hate of Ohio distracted me. We were talking about what it means to follow Jesus. We talked about following Jesus with your heart last week, and we talked about those 4 areas of following Jesus: your head, your heart, your hands, and your habits. Which I was telling Megan before, I totally stole years and years ago. So this is not original to me. So if you love it, don't way to go, Darren. That's so great. I completely stole it, all of it. In fact, just to let you in a secret, most great ideas are not original. Very few great ideas are completely original.
Well, and they probably meant it to be stolen because they wanted you to be able to learn from the 4 H's. So I think whoever did it would be happy you stole it.
100%. And I figure I'll give credit. I stole it from everybody that's ever thought it. It's not original to me. But this week we're talking about what it means to follow Jesus with our hands. And I think this is the easy one to miss, right? So we talk a lot about reading your Bible and praying, and those are important things that bring you closer to Jesus, right? Those are hallmarks of the Christian faith. Those are important things that you need to actually do, right, to be a follower of Jesus, right? And that doesn't surprise anybody, right? Those are like the cliche, like follow Jesus. If you want to build a deeper relationship with Jesus, you need to pray more, you need to read your Bible more. The one I think we easily overlook, right, is how to follow Jesus with your actions, right? So how do we use our actions to actually show that we're followers of Jesus? And like I said, we're just going to call it the Holy Spirit. It worked out perfect that Megan is on today, our missions director, our neighbors and nations director. Megan, when you come across people that don't really know how to live out their faith with action, right? Where do you direct them?
Well, gosh, thinking back to like my journey of how I got here, like it does start with that relationship with Jesus. So, praying and reading your Bible and, being part of a fellowship and really taking your faith seriously and prioritizing it and putting Jesus first and all those things. And then once your relationship with Jesus grows and it grows deeper, then I feel like you can't just sit there anymore. It's like if I'm a Jesus follower, I can't just sit there on Sunday and do nothing else the rest of the week. Like I just had this desire inside me where I had to go and serve.
Yeah.
So what I did was, and I mean, not saying I'm the example, I'm just kind of giving my personal testimony here, but taking a step to serve in church is, some people, that's scary to them, so I, was able to serve in church and on the missions committee and in the cafe, but still I needed to get out into the community. I just had that desire inside myself, and that was not something I created. It was what God put inside me, through time with him and all of that. So then I just began looking for opportunities. Like if you're not looking for an opportunity, even if one is put right in front of you, like you're not going to jump on it and say yes.
Yeah.
So you have to have that attitude of, okay, God, show me opportunities. Put a desire in me to serve where you want me to serve. And that could be across the street or that could be across the world. But he wants you to go somewhere. I guarantee it. It's in the Bible. It's not a if. It's
right.
a where, when, and how kind of question. So, you just have to have an open heart and continue prioritizing Jesus in your life, and you really just won't be able to sit there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that because I love where you started, because it really does start in your heart. If Jesus has changed your heart, the next natural step, right, is because of the heart change that Jesus has done in you, like you serve. Yep. Right? Because that entire idea of following Jesus is, Jesus even said it in Luke 9, is deny yourself, right? Set yourself aside and follow Jesus. Even what was Jesus doing while he's on earth, right? Very few things for himself.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking when you started out. I was like, think about the disciples, and when Jesus said, follow me, like, I'm sure they had prayer meetings, I'm sure that they read the Old Testament together, but the stories you hear is they went, they followed Jesus by their actions, where they went with him, the people they encountered with him, the ways they prayed over people and for healing, and just like this verse says in James 2, caring about people's physical needs, that is a way to follow Jesus. And so it's like one of these things, you can't have one without the other, I feel like. You don't want to just go and do without praying and reading your Bible. But if you're just praying and reading your Bible, but you're not putting your faith into action, then there's something missing there too.
Yeah, I think so. That there's a reason I love that verse in James. We'll cover it just a little bit, but the actually, so this passage is always real special to me, because when Hudson was in preschool, they actually memorized this entire chapter.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. So they're 4 years old, and they recited it at their preschool graduation.
Wow.
That was super cool. And you asked him to do it now, I'm sure he couldn't, but it was real cute. They had like little hand motions and everything. It's adorable. So it's forever seared in my mind, especially this part. But actually, let's just go ahead and read it. So it says James 2:14 through 18. We're going to read it out of the NIV, but you can read it out of whatever. But James 2:14 to 18 says this, what good is it, my brothers and sisters, if people claim to have faith but have no deeds? Right? Now, I mean, we'll just stop right there. Like that hits you right there. It's like, oh, I go to church every Sunday. It's like, I'm a Christian, right? Well, that is claiming to have faith, right? Fantastic. You have faith. That's great. You're a Christian. Way to go. What's it look like, right? What kind of deeds or works or actions, whatever word you want to substitute in there. James is making it real clear, like following Jesus, right? Being a Jesus follower, being a Christian or having faith in Christ is not something you can have that's worth anything apart from action, right? And so he goes even further. He says, can such faith save them? Verse 15 says, suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says, go in peace, keep warm and well fed, but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? Right? Now, a lot of times I think people have looked at this and they've looked at James and they're like, man, but he's just totally discounting like the fact that we should pray for people. Like 100% no. Like he's not discounting that. That's the part that people know.
Right. Yeah.
Right? He's focusing on the part that people have a problem with, which is actually caring for the poor, which is actually doing something, right? Because how much does it cost you to stop and pray for somebody who's homeless? Like, doesn't cost you anything, right? But taking that next step of supporting a missions organization, right, that is feeding and clothing the hungry, all right, or feeding and clothing the hungry. You know what I meant? All those good things, right? Supporting a missions organization, buying somebody's food, whatever it is. There needs to be action accompanied by your faith, right? And so he goes even further. He says, verse 17 says, in the same way, faith by itself, if not accompanied by action, is dead. Someone will say, you have faith, I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by what I do, right? So it comes back to that question of how do people, if they're not talking to you, right? If they don't see you at church, if they don't, if you're not talking about, oh, I go to church and things, how do people know that you're a follower of Jesus, right? And maybe that's a question just to marinate on and think on. Is like, do people around me, do people I work with, people in my life, people even in your own family, like, do they know that you're a Jesus follower?
Yeah. And
right.
You don't have to talk about it all the time, I mean, yes, you should make it clear, obviously, whether it's in your workplace or wherever, that you're a believer. I was in a leadership training a few weeks ago, and one of the ladies that was doing the teaching that night, she works at Virginia Tech. And, she's like, a lot of people have this idea that in public universities, it's a really tough place to work, and God is not at work in these places. And she was just sharing such an encouraging message that God is at work, even in public universities. And she gave some examples of, just things that God is doing among professors, among students. And she's a pastor's wife. People know that. People know her faith. But she said, I don't have like scriptures all over my walls, and like I don't hand out Bibles. And, she just keeps her door open. And she said, you will be surprised of the people that have walked in my office, either wanting prayer or in tears or help me through this situation, just because her door is open and she's available to talk to people, and they know she's a woman of faith. And that's how she shares her faith, because that's her deed, is just keeping her door open and being there for people. And, she doesn't have to get a megaphone and tell everybody she's a Christian. They know it. Right. And they don't avoid her because of it. They seek her out because of it. So
I think Carly, when he does his portion of Equip, he talks about evangelism, and one of the coolest phrases he uses is when he's talking about evangelism. We're talking about sharing your faith. He uses this phrase: "You have to tell a better story," right? So rather than just like telling people about Jesus in the same way of like, "Hey, if you don't know Jesus, you're going to go to hell," right? just share your story,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And you can share your story just in actually telling people your story, right? And keeping the door open, but also like people are going to see that Jesus has changed your life by your demeanor and your attitude.
Yeah.
And I think that's the easiest way to start in showing your faith with your actions is, how do you treat people? Do you approach people and treat people at work or in your personal life, whatever, with an attitude of service?
Yeah.
You know, because if you don't, and then they find out that you're a follower of Jesus, they're going to be real confused, right? How many people have a story about like they've either been turned off to the church or hurt by the church because of the way his people have acted,
Yeah.
right? I mean, unfortunately, those stories are probably too many to count.
Yeah.
It's a reason a lot of churches are empty today is in large part because of stories like that. I mean, so the simplest thing we can start doing is just everybody we interact with, how can we approach them with an attitude of service?
Yeah. And I would say that with that, think of that in terms of relationships. Because if you focus on not the doing of things for people to see them, but the relationships that you have with people, whether you're, trying to share Christ in your workplace or somewhere else, or whether it's your acts of serving the community, like don't look past the relationship part, because it should all be based on relationship. And that's the hard part for people in serving the community. Like, if you hand someone something that you think they need, number one, they may not need it or want it, But number two, it's like the helping without hurting concept. We do that seminar a lot here at Parkway. We offer it, and it's a great start because it helps us realize that we are all in poverty. It's spiritual poverty and in so many other ways. So we're not better than the person we're trying to help. We're trying to walk alongside them in relationship and help them get into right relationship with God, with themselves, with others, with the community. And that's a long process, and a lot of people don't want to walk with people through a messy process. You just want to like give them something you think they need, check that off your list, and move on. So that's denying yourself and taking up the cross. It's not easy to serve with your hands.
And it's messy.
Because you have to do it in relationship.
People are super messy.
Yeah, all of us. It's true. You have to be willing to take that risk if you truly want to walk alongside people who are hurting in different ways. And, I'm talking to myself here. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes sacrifice, and you just have to be willing to like walk through the mess with people. And that's not easy to do, but that's what Jesus did. That's what he asked his disciples to do. So it's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. And I think I think that's a great place to start, is you have to adjust your attitude, and every interaction you have with people is, am I approaching them with an attitude of service? Am I looking for a way to serve the person I'm interacting with, right? That's I wouldn't say easy, but it's simple. That's a simple place to start. It's not always easy, but it's a simple place to start. Beyond that, right, I'll give you an easy one. Sign up to serve in your church. Like, if I guarantee, I've been in church a long time. I don't care what church you walk into, right? Any church worth its salt has problems and has needs for volunteers. Every single church. We are probably more blessed here than any church I've ever been in, right? With all the volunteers we've got, and we still need more. Right? We have great volunteers, a great team. We have a great number of volunteers. Great percentage of our attendance is volunteering. It's fantastic. But we still need more. We always need more. And the reality is, if you're a follower of Jesus, you should be serving in church in some capacity. You should be serving inside the church in some way, shape, or form, right? With some level of regularity. For some people, that's every month. Some people, that's every week. I was going to say every day. I don't know that we have any volunteers that serve every single day.
Probably not.
Probably not. That might be a bad thing if we do. But I love Pastor Mike's illustration on, he's got the little popcorn kernels, and I can't do it justice. He's got the little popcorn kernels and the balance beam and everything. He didn't do it this time in Equip, and I was real disappointed.
Oh man.
I know. I told him I missed it. So,
It's because I talked too long in the equip, so he didn't probably have time to do it.
well, I told him that if he does nothing else, like that's the thing he needs to do all the time.
Yeah,
right?
it's
it's
a
so
great
good.
illustration.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight in Equip with the gigantic class that's in Equip right now. Right. So if you've not already been through Equip, there's another Equip class starting April the 2nd. So make sure you get signed up for that if you've not already been a part of Equip. So we won't steal too much of that, but that's what we're going to be talking about tonight is where can we plug you in, where can you serve? And it's not a matter of where do we need people, right? Because I can tell you where I need people, right? But if they're not the right fit for it, I don't want them there, right?
Well, that's why we call it Discover Your Purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, serving is not just to serve because the church needs you or because God needs you. It's God wants you to discover your purpose, why he created you, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to do with people, is just help them discover their purpose. So
and what's great is when we get the people plugged in where their shape kind of directs them, and when they're serving in their purpose, like they come alive.
Yeah.
And it's not so much a matter of you need to serve, it's I need to serve. Like I need to do this. Like we have people like Skylar comes to mind.
yeah.
Like I don't know if you've ever been in the lobby, and if you've never met Skylar, shout out to you. One of my favorite greeters in the world to watch. Like the dude just comes alive, greeting people and accepting people into the church. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's so good at it. It's always good to see him when I get to be in the lobby. Usually I'm in the lobby, but I'm like running through the lobby to go do something else. But easy one, and probably one of the most important ones, is serving in your church. And another way to serve that is another requirement of being a follower of Jesus is serving people outside the church. So we get to offer a ton of ways for people to do that at Parkway. Give them like a couple of the current opportunities where they could serve people kind of outside the church right now.
Wow, you put me on the spot, Darren. I think we have, like you said, a lot of different opportunities. And just, for people who may not know this, we prioritize partnership. So we don't create our own ministries in the community that are Parkway ministries. We partner with other ministries that are doing it well. They have boards, they have advisory committees, they know they're day in and day out with the community that they serve, and we come alongside them not just financially but with volunteers, with encouragement, with other ways to display our partnership with them. So I can think of one thing now that we're doing with the Blue Ridge Women's Center is they need mentors for women who have chosen life, and they just need someone to walk through that with them. Yeah. So Making Life Disciples is the name of the program, and we've got 10 women who are ready to go through the training and be available to be mentors for women at the Blue Ridge Women's Center.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and they can also put those skills to work in their own lives and in the life of our church. So that's an example. Care Portal is another example that Dustin and I were talking about this morning. They connect churches with families in need in communities, and they're actually a nationwide organization, but we have a lot of Care Portal churches right here in Roanoke that the churches come together to serve families, and it's mainly families who are at risk of losing their children for one reason or another. So the Child Protective Services in the city works closely with the churches to get families what they need, whether that be a bunk bed or a stove or diapers or whatever that may be, to help keep that family together or help to support the family members who have maybe like the grandma maybe who has taken in her grandchildren. And there's just so many examples of beautiful ways that the church has partnered with the other organizations to serve through Care Portal. So the community care team is one thing that I offer. It's really simple. It's just get on the email list for the community care team. Yeah. And I'll send you an email once a week, usually on Wednesdays. Here are the opportunities to serve in our community, whether it be with Friendship House or Immigrant Connection, or whether it be with the Blue Ridge Women's Center or the Rescue Mission, whoever our partners are, and then some that aren't necessarily our partners, but we know they're great ministry organizations and they need some help. So we can plug you in like that. And, you don't have to say yes to anything or everything. Just say yes to what God puts on your heart at that particular time. So if you're interested in doing that, you can just email me if you want to put my email address in the chat, and I'll get you on that email list. And that's a really just easy, practical way to be informed about what are like the real-time needs in the community that you could plug into.
I'm double checking my spelling. I think I got it right. But yes, email Megan. She will get you plugged in. I will tell you, there are very few reasons that you can't find some organization to serve in Roanoke, right? There's plenty of hurting people in Roanoke, plenty of people that, the blind, the sick, the lame, right? The people, the least of these that Jesus talked about, right? So there's very little reason that you can't find some way to support them, right? So we had our men's ministry partnered together and got to go partner with Care Portal, right? They painted an entire house. I think there were volunteers from other churches there as well, right?
Yes, there were.
They were able to partner with them and painted a house for a family in need like in 3 hours. Like that was super cool. The pictures are great, so you'll see them at some point. But super cool to have opportunities like that. And what I love about that is when that's exactly the kind of thing James was talking about. It's you have to take care of people's physical needs, right? Even Jesus, when he was on earth, he didn't just give people spiritual food, right? He legit healed people, like literally gave sight to the blind, right? And we have ways to do that, even beyond miracles, is literally buying people food or supporting organizations that are feeding and clothing. Because I know that's I've had people, and I've had some of these same concerns myself. Like I don't want to just support any organization, right, without being able to know anything about them and know that they're doing good work. Because so many scams and things out there. But that's one thing I love about our approach to missions is we support partnerships. Like we don't have to try to do it. Like we're going to support the people that are doing well, and we're going to vet them to make sure they're actually doing it appropriately, aligned with our values and things like that, right? So great way to serve with your hands outside the church, through Parkway. So definitely reach out to Megan. You can go to parkroanoke.com/missions. All the opportunities are there. If they're not, they will be. But all that's there. You can partner with Megan. She'll get you plugged in. But just to be clear, it is a command. Very, very clear, right? Serving is a command. Jesus in Mark 10:45, the Son of Man came not to serve, or not to be served, but to serve, right? If there was anybody on earth that should have never had to serve anybody, right, that should have just been served, it was Jesus. And he served.
Was our example.
Right? 100%. So that is... that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks so much for joining us, Megan. Perfect timing. Jumping in today. It always works out, right?
Does.
It's always better when you're on, but it always works out like, oh, this is perfect.
Perfect.
This is exactly what we're talking about. So
because there's a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have a whole lot of input in, but this one was definitely right up my alley.
Well, and you always do a good job of reeling me back in and keep me on track. So that's always a good thing too. But
good to have a lady around the table sometimes.
It is always good. It helps keep us a little more focused. Better than all the bald guys we have on the show. Like Cody and Brandon are like the only dudes around with hair anymore.
Well, they wear hats so much. I don't
you didn't even know.
Is there hair under there?
Thanks so much for joining us. Another episode of Midweek Motivation. We'd love for you to share it with somebody. If somebody in your life needs a little bit of encouragement, maybe they just need somebody to laugh at, I am happy to be the person that they laugh at. So if this makes a difference in somebody's life, we're happy about that. So share this with somebody and get plugged in, serving. There is no more excuses. If you come up with an excuse of why you can't serve, reach out to us and I'll tell you why you're wrong. So I love doing that. I love telling people why they're wrong. So much fun. So thanks so much for joining us. Have a great week and stay motivated.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, when you're feeling down and motivated in the midweek, we got the guys here to make your life complete. Little John, Brandon, Cody, Carly, they're coming in to keep you motivated all week. New episode, same time every week. Don't gotta wait long for the next one to release. So don't go away, sit down, take a seat, enjoy Midweek Motivation with John and Carly. Hey.
Midweek Motivation. Let's go!